Mark Adams, and welcome to episode 14 of Marksmess Podcast, where with my daughters Charlotte and Catherine.
Catherine and Charlotte.
Charlotte and Catherine.
Catherine and Charlotte.
Charlotte and Catherine.
Catherine and Charlotte.
Okay, we look at the world of geekery using the alphabet as our guide, and this month the letter is...
Ooh, L.
O-L.
L.
This month the letter is...
L.
And this month our L will be LOL. 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 Laugh out loud. The funny moments that make it... Lots of no.
Lots of no.
Your cat just died. Lol.
And anyway, if you would
Your
like...
rabbit just died. Lol.
If you would like to get in touch with us, you can by email,
mymarksmess@gmail.com.
on Twitter,
At Marksmess Podcast without the T.
on our webpage, marksmesspodcast.blogspot.com, or on Facebook.
Marksmess Podcasts.
And people have been in touch with us through various means. No, it's quite nice. It's quite nice when we go.
It's the LOL emoji.
Right. First of all, we have Professor Alan contacted us about our K episode. Okay, Catherine, would you like to read out what he says?
Never contacted us about our C episode.
Catherine and family, I am only 57 seconds into episode 13, but I wanted to write in with my early reactions. Best episode ever. Keep up the good work. Professor Allen, relatively geeky, dorkness to light.
That, of course, is Professor Alan of the Relatively Geeky Network from the podcast Darkness to Light. Thank you very much, Professor. I did reply to him and said to him that the second 57 seconds are even better, but it goes downhill after that. But that's really nice. Hopefully he lasted the rest of the podcast and he listened to not just... he listened past the first 57 seconds, but maybe he just keeps that 57 seconds on a loop and listens to it again and again.
I listen to Catherine's voice again and again and again and
We
again.
have to.
I know, it's so sad.
You don't have to edit this. I do. Anyway, thank you very much, Alan. It was lovely to hear from you. Our next one came from Twitter, on our Twitter feed. It is from
Cash flag.
Cash Flag.
It was Cash Flag.
But listen, if it was Northern Ireland, it would be Cash Flag.
Cash Flag.
Cash flag. Hell.
Can I tell you, Cash Flag, I do believe Cash Flag is actually As Dano of the Resurrections and Adam Warlock podcast. After our discussion about our Kitty Pryde and the Banff doll, the Nightcrawler doll, he said, I wanted a Banff doll for years. I agree with him, and I am trying to get my wife, your mother, to sew me up or knit me one. Yeah, that would be cool. Okay, so thanks, Cash Flag. Thank you very much for your comment, and do keep listening. We have got reviews on iTunes.
Ooh.
Yes. iTunes is where you can, for Apple products like an iPad and an iPhone.
Oh, it's on your picture.
That's the picture we have of you. But if you ever do go on iTunes to look us up, the picture we have of it is of this medal ceremony at the end of Star Wars Original 1. And I've superimposed Charlotte, quite shoddily imposed Charlotte onto that scene as well, reading a book. This was from, 2 years ago, where your P7 teacher had a competition. Who could find the weirdest place to read a book?
He likes Star Wars, which is a bonus.
He likes Star Wars, so as a joke, I made this one up.
And the person standing behind me has a really weird face.
Well, I had to sort of
Draw his
face in. Anyway.
By doing a smiley face.
So convincing.
We have got a review on iTunes from our friends Ruth and Darren Sutherland, and they are the podcasters of Xenozonic Xenophiles and Trekker Talk.
Trekkertalk.com.
And you might hear that in a few of their episodes, but it's lovely to hear from them, lovely to get our 5-star review. Charlotte, could you read it out?
This is a delightful and charming podcast.
I say, we're going back into that
Try
accent.
an American accent. Are they from America?
They're from America,
Should I
but
try an American accent?
no, because we don't want Americans to not listen to us.
No, I want to try it. American
Okay,
accent.
try it.
This is a delightful and charming podcast filled with great information and fun conversations as Mark walks through the geek alphabet with his lovely daughters Charlotte and Catherine and Charlotte. Topics range from comics to films to television and more. It's a truly family-friendly show that will have you smiling throughout each episode. Highly recommended.
Lovely.
The last bit wasn't American. Highly recommended.
Hey, recommended there, bae. Hey. Thank you very much, Ruth and Darren. Lovely hearing from you. And do continue listening. I think that is all the feedback. There's a wee bit of feedback we'll have after the break from a question I posed online. Have you been watching or reading anything geeky over the past month?
We had Uncle John over and we watched The Incredibles with him and he said he loved it, and then we watched Jack Attack after that.
That was so detailed.
I know!
Yes. So which was a geeky bit? Uncle John or Incredibles?
Incredibles.
Right, Catherine, what have you got?
The podcast thing that we listened to in the car.
What did we listen to?
A quiz thing.
We listened
Where
to
there was 640.
We listened to Pod Quiz. So you can find that at podquiz.com. Our local library has got in new trades, comic book trades in. So I've been reading through them, and that got me back on to Marvel Unlimited. So I've read through all new, all different Avengers, Nova, Ms. Marvel, Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and I'm making my way through Dan Slott's She-Hulk.
Don't you mean Buckethead?
Dan Slott's Buckethead? Okay, so I'm making my way through all that. So I've read about £900 worth. Anyway, so that's been our month. In the next month, we should be going to see Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
No.
I don't know why I did that.
I don't know why you did.
I really want to see it.
Yeah. Right, so this month in the podcast, we are talking about, well, geeky laughing things. We're actually going to talk about sci-fi sitcoms. What is a sitcom? It's
We sit on a comic.
You'd think it would be, but it's actually
You sit down and you're laughed at or you laugh.
It's a situation comedy. It's a comedy with a kind of a storyline around it that is in a situation. It could be...
Like Mr. Bean.
But you two were watching something this afternoon on CBBC.
Oh, so awkward.
So Awkward is a sitcom. What is the situation? What?
School. So is that basically a set?
Yeah. Where it's set. The situation. And some comedies, the situation is a bit sci-fi. I'm gonna talk through a few of my favourites. We'll show you a few wee bits off YouTube.
5 things off YouTube.
5 things. Right? These would be
all 5
probably... We're going to be watching a couple of minutes of each, just to give you a flavour of what each one is. Okay, we will not be doing Comeback Mrs. Noah from 1978 with the great Molly Sugden, but an awful sitcom. It's really bad. Or we won't be talking about My Hero from the year 2000 to 2006. 51 episodes in that. Ardal O'Hanlon was the star of it for a while, and then they changed the lead actor. Basically, an alien comes to Earth, or a superhero comes to Earth and marries an ordinary woman. But anyway, what we will talk about, probably the greatest one people will think about, is Mork and Mindy. Mork and Mindy ran from 1978 to 1982, 4 seasons of it, 95 episodes. Robin Williams, who is a fantastic comedy actor and does fantastic stand-up, and Pam... not Robin Williams. Robin Williams, not Robbie Williams.
I've heard of Robbie Williams.
Yeah, he's a singer, but Robin Williams died a few years ago, but he was the genie out of Aladdin.
Wait, is he Robbie Williams' brother?
No.
Are they related?
No. Mork and Mindy was a spin-off from another sitcom, Happy Days. Mork is an alien who comes to Earth to investigate Earth, and he ends up living with Mindy, and she sort of guides him through sort of the trials of being at Earth. This scene here is quite a famous one, which is Mork came in an egg, a spaceship, so he thinks these other eggs are other aliens as well. So, as you can see from just before we start, he dresses quite loudly, a very colourful jumper or shirt.
Like the Doctor, I don't know what one it was.
Dr. Six.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
There's actually Mr. Men books of them now.
I think that is great. I want them.
Is there?
Yeah.
You can win them in the Beano.
Oh. We'll have to look that up later on and see if the Doctor Who Mr. Men books are available to buy. In fact, let's have a look at that now. I want to know. You can. They're like £4 each.
Oh, I want that one.
You want the 11th?
Yeah.
I think that would be great. Anyway, back to what we're about to do. Here is Mork and Mindy, My Friends, the Eggs.
Hello? Hello? Anybody in there? Little hatchling brothers, you must revolt against your oppressors. You have nothing to lose but your shells. As much as I like Mindy, it's against intergalactic law to eat fellow space travelers. Fly, be free! Well, I guess we'll have to have a quick burial at sea, then. I'll notify your next of kin. Your brother bit the big one. What's the matter? Have you no emotions? Are you hard-boiled? Huh? Oh, I see. The coal machine placed you in a state of suspended animation. I'll put you over here to warm up, and when you revive, you'll be free to fly. Over here. You people really are short. You know that, don't you? Oh. Smokey! Hi, I'm Mork.
First thing you notice is you didn't think it was that funny.
I didn't get the smoky bit.
There are bits you didn't get. But in every sitcom, one of the fun things is hearing the characters that you got to know saying the same lines over again. In So Awkward, you're going to have people who will say the same type of thing again and again. Can you think of anything they say?
Martha says something, and then her mom says the exact same thing.
Right, so something like that. Yeah.
Her mum doesn't listen, basically.
So that's something that occurs all the time. You're going to have sitcoms that I could mention several things. If I say Norm, people know what sitcom that is. You don't, because you didn't grow up in that era. If I say that doesn't like it up them, they know who that is. And all. I could mention 4 or 5, but the people who are listening to this, the lovely listeners to this podcast, know who it is. Anyway, the next one you might like a wee bit better. It is a puppet-based one called ALF. ALF stands for Alien Life Form. From 1986 to 1990, 4 seasons, 102 episodes.
Charlotte's excited.
Yeah. Paul Fasco is the puppeteer and the voice of ALF. And ALF is an alien who lands with a family and stays with them. Again, the same sort of thing. Alf is less of a lovable innocent and more of, well, he's the type of alien who wants to eat the cat. So here he is teaching the youngest person in the family how to do martial arts to help defend themselves.
All right. After this lesson, you'll never get beat up at school again.
I'm not going to school anymore.
Don't say that. School's very important. If you drop out, you won't get anywhere in life. You'll just hang around the house all day, eating and watching TV.
I want to be like you.
I don't know whether to laugh or cry. All right. Now, the trick here is to concentrate all your energy and let it explode in a blinding flash of destruction. Watch. Hee-yah!
All right.
Well, that never worked before.
Do it again.
Okay. Hee-yah! I guess there's only pain when you don't break the board. Unbelievable pain.
Okay, we'll leave it there, just where he breaks his hand. So Alf was very popular, and then it turned into a talk show. There was a cartoon, and there was even Marvel Comics about it. If you want to hear a wee bit about the Marvel Comics, I did a very short review in my previous podcast, Marksmess versus Evolutionary War, probably in the very last episode of that.
I thought it was Marksmess versus Atlantis Attacks.
That was the one after that, and thank you for advertising that as well. Ding! Right, so what did you think of that?
It was okay.
It was okay. If you got to watch more of it... Yeah, he's quite funny. He always tries to eat the cat. That's what I remember from it. I always thought it was quite funny.
The other one, because the other one tried to make an egg fly.
Yes,
the
Robin Williams one.
Tries to eat a cat.
Well, we can at another time, but
Oh, no.
well, our listeners might want to Mork and Mindy. Mork is played by Robin Williams. Robin Williams was a stand-up comic. And in the scripts for Mork and Mindy, it would go, Mork walks into a room, Mork talks to Mindy and says this, and then Robin Williams does his bit. So it just basically, Robin Williams does something funny, and that's probably where that came from. He probably devised that by himself. Anyway, the third one is, funny enough...
Backyard sea burial.
Yes, I like that.
Slotted.
Third rock from the sun. Now, first of all, what's the third rock from the sun? Earth. So again, it's aliens coming... It's aliens coming to Earth before an invasion to learn all about it. From 96 to 2001, 6 seasons, 139 episodes. I can't believe there were that many. John Lithgow, Kirsten Johnson, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
30 seasons.
6 seasons, 139 episodes. Right. So it's about these alien commanders who come to Earth, disguise themselves as a family, and trying to find out as much as they can about Earth society. Again, it's a fish out of water. It's not understanding about Earth culture. Here are the family at a ball game. There is...
A ball game?
A ball game. Well, it's an American sport of some sort where they're about to play the American national anthem. The family have no idea what to do in this situation. And if you look at the screen, you can see he plays the father, the uncle, the sister, and the son.
So it's just the 4 of them?
There's just the 4 of them.
Not
so
that guy.
Not that guy, not that guy, not the ones behind. So here we go for the American national anthem.
Please rise for the national anthem. Today being performed by...
That's the most pathetic wave I've ever seen. These people are playing a dangerous game. They've crested for far too long. Sooner or later, they've got to crash.
Hey, why don't you show a little respect for our national anthem, huh?
What do we do, Dick? Just do what the others do.
Oh, check it out. The words are on the Ruthertron.
And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the and the home of the
Okay, what did you think of that?
It's funny.
Just weird.
It's weird. Well, a lot of these ones are aliens coming to Earth and being weird because they don't understand our culture. It's like coming from a different land, coming from France and living in Northern Ireland and going, oh, why do you not eat those frog's legs? Oh. But what if
Why don't you pick up the snail, boil it and eat it?
But what if you were the one going to the foreign land? So the next two are about Earthlings going out into space and not understanding.
Like when we went to Florida.
Like when we went to Florida. Didn't understand America at all. Don't understand this whole thing about having crisps without flavour. I don't understand that.
And not understanding that chips are crisps.
Exactly. And driving on the wrong side. The amount of people that beeped at us, I thought they were being friendly for the first 2 days. Anyway, so these are two...
They have squeezy jelly and squeezy cheese.
So in these first 3, the joke is that we know where they're going wrong. We understand what they're doing is not the right thing. And that's what the humor is. The next 2 are... The joke is, we know what it's like to be somebody who feels a wee bit out of it. So, the next 2 are actually from Britain. Hitchhiker's Guide...
Especially when you start secondary school.
Yeah, it's a bit like that. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy was first a radio series, then a book, and then a TV series. Loved it.
You talked about it.
Talked about it because it's very influential. We're going to watch a wee bit from the first episode.
I never heard you talk about about it?
It is, well, maybe if you listen a bit more. Earth has just been destroyed by the Vogons, and
What?
Arthur Dent is still in his dressing gown, has been rescued by his best friend, Ford Prefect, who he's just found out is an alien. So, here we go.
I bought some peanuts. We've just been through a matter transference beam. You've probably lost some salt and protein. The beer you had should have cushioned your system a bit. How are you feeling?
Like a military academy. Bits of me keep passing out. Ford, if I were to ask you where the hell we were, would I regret it?
We're safe.
Ah, good.
We're in a cabin of one of the spaceships of the Vogon constructor fleet.
Ah, this is obviously some strange usage of the word safe that I hadn't previously been aware of. What are you doing?
Looking for the light.
How did we get here?
We hitched a lift.
Excuse me? Are you telling me that we just stuck our thumbs out and some green, bug-eyed monster popped his head out and said, "Hi, fellas, hop right in, I can take you as far as the Basingstoke roundabout"?
Well, the thumb's an electronic sub-ether device, the roundabout's at Barnard Star, but otherwise that's more or less right.
And the bug-eyed monster?
Is green, yes.
Okay, we'll stop it there. Your Earth has been destroyed, and one man has survived, Arthur Dent, in his dressing
I
gown.
didn't get any of them.
You didn't like, okay.
Was it on 2 Man?
2 men, the other guy's an alien.
I didn't get the bit, the military bit.
Bits of me keep passing out. That's okay. In a military academy, you when you graduate, you pass out. It's called passing out. Okay, but that's okay. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy was in 1981. It was one series. I thought it was 2 series, 6 episodes. That's all. I'm amazed at that because it's such. It's an iconic program. Last one is Red Dwarf, the show that refused to die.
You watch Red Dwarf.
I love Red Dwarf. I was there for the very first episode called The End, ironically enough, in 1988. 11 seasons, 11 series of this, 67 episodes, written almost entirely by Nyler Grant, 2 men. American sitcoms that tend to be written by a room full of people, and British sitcoms tend to be written by a small group of 2 or 3 people. Okay?
So that's
British. This was British as well. Chris Barry, Craig Charles, Danny John Jules, who we nearly met at Comic-Con.
We did.
We did. You didn't know who he was, so there's no point in meeting him. Norman Lovett, Robert Llewellyn, and a few other people. This has to be my favourite joke in the whole series. So they're in this mining ship billions of years in the future. So there's no humans left, and they've just discovered another ship out there. Right? So they're about to meet this other ship. This is them getting prepared.
It's a distress call from a ship called the Nova 5. They crash-landed. I'm trying to establish contact.
Another ship? Brilliant! So it's not aliens then?
No, they're from Earth. Hope they got some spare odds and sods on board. We're a bit short on a few supplies.
Like what?
Cow's milk. Ran out of that yonks ago. Fresh and dehydrated.
What kind of milk are we using now?
Emergency backup supply. We're on the dog's milk.
Dog's milk?
Nothing wrong with dog's milk. Full of goodness, full of vitamins, full of marrowbone jelly. Lasts longer than any other type of milk, dog's milk.
Why?
No bugger will drink it. Plus, of course, the advantage of dog's milk is that when it goes off, it tastes exactly the same as when it's fresh.
Why didn't you tell me, Holly?
What, and spoil your tea? Hang about, we've got contact.
Okay, still being made.
But dogs can't make milk.
But dogs can. They're a mammal. All mammals make milk.
How do you think the mums feed their puppies?
With water?
No.
Food?
With milk. All mammals give milk.
The poo's so runny.
Really? I put the microphone over to you for that comment. But,
I never knew that.
Yeah. So...
in the wild, in your book, in the wild, that's how they would feed their puppies.
In domestic dogs would feed their...
I know, but that's how they would feed their puppies if they didn't have any humans.
There's a dog called Moon in it, and she has puppies.
I just love the whole thing. Dog's milk lasts longer than cow's milk. Why?
Because it tastes the same when it goes off.
No, because no one will drink it, so it lasts longer in the fridge. If you've ever shared a house or a flat or something like that, you'll know that, because people always pinch your milk. Guys,
And you're half eating Mars bar?
my Mars bar wasn't even half eaten. It was in the freezer. It was waiting for me after.
Why in the freezer?
It was. It gets really hard, and it's really hard. You have to work at it.
I'm confused. What are you talking about?
I shared a house, and the person who owned the house ate my frozen Mars bar. I was having a hard day. I knew it would be a long day, so I stuck a Mars bar in the freezer. I got home that night after a long day. I think it was a 12-hour day, and I got in, went to the freezer, and said, "Oh, I ate your Mars bar. Hope it's okay."
Better bought you another one.
No, she didn't. She just sat there stuffing her face with them. No. Anyway, that's enough about my past. That is 5 of my favourite sci-fi sitcoms. Maybe there are people out there who could recommend other ones. If you can, do contact us like other people. We're going to have a break now where Catherine is going to watch a bit more Alf. So we will see you in a few minutes.
In 1984, I was 10 years old, and a strange light lit up the park behind my house. In the middle of the night, still in my pajamas, I ran to investigate. A strange machine sat brooding in the dark. I stepped inside and I was taken to a far-off galaxy where I saw men, monsters, and gods fight and die. Join us again on the Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars and Beyond series, part of the Pulp to Pixel podcasts, where we will discuss each issue of the Secret Wars miniseries and their long-term impact on the characters who joined us on Battleworld and on those we left behind on the home front. Join us again on Battleworld. Return with us to our Secret Wars.
In February 2014, a new podcast dedicated to the Marvel Comics character Adam Warlock debuted, and the internet broke in half. Well, not really. Far from it, to be honest. But a few of you actually noticed, and we thank you for that. Over the course of 2014, we covered all of Adam's Silver Age adventures and have started on his Bronze Age solo series, as well as his current appearance in 2 Thanos specials. But it's time for a change. So I'm sad to announce that episode 20 will be the last episode of Resurrections, an Adam Warlock podcast. However, I am pleased to announce that in 2015, we will premiere the first episode, which we will call Episode 21, of Resurrections, an Adam Warlock and Thanos podcast. Yes, the show is continuing, but now with more Thanos. Each month we will have John M. Wilson on as we cover an issue of Warlock, and the other episode of the month we will continue to have Brian Zeno on to cover Thanos' appearances, starting with Captain Marvel 25. So join us in 2015 for Resurrections, an Adam Warlock and Thanos podcast, now with 20% more Thanos.
And we're back, and you just listened to 2 promos, one for Pulp to Pixel, which I've only just started listening to, and one of the podcasts they talk a lot about Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars, which is
It's not secret anymore.
Well, Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars was a comic made by Marvel in the 80s, and it was the first massive company-wide crossover. And we've got it somewhere, the trade version of it. It's well worth having a look at it. Pulp to Pixel are talking about issue by issue, character by character almost, and it's good fun listening to them. Also heard a promo for Resurrections, and I'm nearly caught up, Al. Almost caught up with you. Okay, now, where were we? We talked about...
Hi.
We talked about sitcoms on TV. What about sitcoms and comic books? I'm going to show you 3 of them. There are many more. Sensational She-Hulk is another one I could have brought down from the boxes.
Why are they all alliteration?
Blame Stan Lee. Well, even before Stan Lee, Clark Kent, Lois Lane.
Clark Kent is...
Clark Kent.
Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Bruce Banner.
Yeah, Bruce Banner. Stephen Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme. Why do you think a lot of them are alliteration?
So it makes it more interesting.
Yeah, and one more.
You can remember them better.
You can remember them better. Right. When I first started really collecting comics, there were 4 or 5 comic books that really caught my eye. And this one I'm going to show you. The cover of it made me buy it. Right, there you go. Excalibur number 14. Who do you see? Oh, right. It's one of these ones that along one side is a group of heroes fighting a group of heroes on the other side. So on the right-hand side, we've got Excalibur with Phoenix, Megan, Kitty Pryde, Captain Britain, and Nightcrawler. Who's on the other side?
Doctor Strange, the Wasp, Iron Man, Hulk,
and Ariel.
Rapunzel!
Well,
Ginger Rapunzel.
Close. Medusa. So, but it's a double...
Medusa.
When you open it up, Medusa.
Medusa. I said Medusa.
Oh, you could very well be right. I'm very bad at these things.
Yeah,
but when you open it up, you might realise something is a wee bit off about it.
What?
Well, what other heroes do you see?
Egghead!
Well,
He's not a hero.
He's not a hero. He's a...
Wait, what? Why is that a zombie?
They're all baddies.
Are they all baddies? They're all weird versions of who they are. There is Quicksilver, who, and this is really fat. There's Captain America, who's a cross between Captain America and a cyborg. Deathlock.
There's Thor, and he's a cross between Loki and Thor.
Yes.
Who's that?
That is MODOK. Well, it's MODOK in the shape of an egg.
Who's MODOK?
There is Silver Surfer, but he's actually Silver Skateboarder.
Storm in the background.
Yeah. So in this...
There's a leg.
Yeah, of who? Giant Man.
Wait.
Why
is there 2 Captain Americas?
What? He's not Captain America. That's Bullseye.
Alright.
Right. In this comic, it is the 3rd part of the Cross Timekeeper in Excalibur, and they go about doing silly things. Like, look here, even the first. This is Alan Davis art and Chris Claremont writing. It's fantastic stuff. Excalibur was a funny comic. They went out to be a wee bit silly, a wee bit funny. Now, look in here. Who do you see in this first page?
Elvis Presley.
Elvis Presley as a monster.
A fairy.
There's a Dark Knight. You see a fairy. Princesses.
There's gnomes.
Thor's in it.
There's gnomes.
Right.
There.
So this is the 3rd part. The first part, they go across different dimensions and they end up in a fairy tale land. And the 3rd part, they're about to leave the fairy tale land and they go to a weird place with weird people. So they end up and they have to find their way back home. What about this picture here? This is Kitty Pryde and their friend Alistair Stewart are at the Fantastic Four Freedom Plaza and they're in a queue to meet Mr. Fantastic. Maybe he'll help. And who else is in the queue?
The Dalek.
A Dalek.
A Dalek, isn't it? So it's pretty silly. So you tend to find comics like this they get some serious comics like Frank Miller's Daredevil or like a lot of Wolverine.
Daredevil.
There's a Daredevil there.
And an angel.
Who looks very angelic. But they are very, very silly. This is worth reading, girls, if you want to have a good read at it. There is... Right, good. Okay, you can have a look at it later. We've got things to do. Next one that would be a sitcom that I bought was GLA, Misassembled. This is Great Lakes Avengers, who were always a funny group of people. That includes Squirrel Girl.
What? Squirrel Girl, Speedo, Ultimate Spider-Man, Web Warriors.
She was indeed, and as silly there as she is here. You have got Flatman, who is 2-dimensional. You have Dinosaur, who is half human, half pterodactyl. Big Bertha, who basically is a supermodel who can become really fat. You have Doorman, who when
That's a weird power for a supermodel.
It is a very weird power. You've got Doorman, who, if he stands against a wall, you can walk through him into the next room. And you've got Mr. Immortal, who can die, but he comes back to life again. Which is a rubbish power, because, hi, I will stop you villains, bang! Okay, you're dead for a second or two, they get away. That is Grasshopper, who is a member of the GLA for about 2 minutes. So there's all that. It's very silly. Everyone, in each issue, somebody dies until the end, including Monkey Joe, who is Squirrel Girl's favourite monkey. Have a moment for Monkey Joe. But all the way through, there's...
Why does she have monkeys when she should have...
It's called Monkey Joe. There's Monkey Joe, who's dead. The ghost of Monkey Joe. And the Monkey Joe will say
Monkey
things...
Joe's actually a squirrel.
Yes. Did I say monkey?
Mm-hmm.
That's quite well recommended, but best of all, you've got formerly known as the Justice League.
He's got a cheesy smile.
Now, you've heard me mention Justice League International.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the Justice League International Barhaha podcast by the Irredeemable Shag. This is kind of, he'll eventually get to talk about this. Years after that comic, they produced another comic which all these members got back together to form their own super team called Super Friends to help out, and they have it's less about what happens to them and more about the laughs. So very much a situation comedy in the whole thing.
Who are they all?
Who are they all? Okay, you have got...
Is that, what do you call it, sister?
Captain Marvel's sister.
Aye.
That's Mary Marvel, right?
I take it that's a yes then.
That's a yes.
His twin sister.
Yes, that's right.
It's a yes
you
from
know
me.
more about this than me at times. You've got the elongated man and his wife Sue, so they're married. That's why she's giving him the nasty look. Her power is she's married to the elongated man and can stand him for more than 5 minutes.
Who's she?
That is Fire, who is basically green fire person. There is Booster Gold.
Yeah.
The Blue Beetle.
Who's that? Who's the
So that's the
booster
second
person?
Blue Beetle.
He's a really cheesy guy that wants to be a really famous superhero but can't.
Absolutely.
Because he's really bad at it.
And this one, the silver guy, is Captain Atom.
Yup.
We've seen him before in the Justice League
I haven't.
Unlimited.
Yep.
Right.
I haven't.
You have, but you've just forgotten.
What? I don't want... what?
Because he can explode and then be pumped back into his suit. It's weird.
It's weird. I don't quite understand DC heroes. Anyway, right.
I don't quite understand the science of it.
We have been talking about sitcoms that are sci-fi. We've been talking about comic books that are a bit sitcom-y. What about jokes? I did put out on Facebook a request for people to send in their jokes.
You should have put it on Twitter as well.
Well, it went on Twitter as well, and one person sent us jokes.
How many?
Sent a few jokes, so what I will do, I will read them out. You tell me if you understand them. These are from our friend Caroline. Question. How do Ewoks contact each other when they are apart?
Ewalkie-talkies.
Ewalkie-talkies is right! Ding!
I just made
Wait,
that
is
up.
the Ewok the little squishy thing?
They're the furry things, wee teddy bears.
Oh!
That's good. Okay, see if you can get this one, Charlotte. What do you call Chewbacca when he has chocolate in his hair?
Chewy.
Very close. I like that, though. It's not what Caroline says. Chocolate chip Wookie. See, that was a genuine laugh. You don't get it. Instead of chocolate chip cookie, chocolate chip Wookie.
What's a
He's a
Wookiee?
Wookiee.
Chewbacca is a Wookie.
It's his species.
Oh.
Okay, can I just say that your teacher if I haven't taught you what a Wookiee is, you're
No, in
educated.
the play, then there says something about... okay. I think he just says it was a big furry thing or something.
It is. Chewbacca's a big furry thing that is a Wookiee. 2 more left. What are Vulcan eyeglasses called? Oh, you really don't know much about Star Trek.
No,
No.
I don't know anything.
Do you know Mr. Spock from Star Trek?
I don't know anything.
Oh, you don't know. What are Vulcan eyeglasses called? Spockticles. Okay, right.
Cricket.
What is Spider-Man's favourite month?
Spump.
How does that work? Okay, I'll have to tell you. What is Spider-Man's favourite month? February. That's a groovy one. Right, those are the 4. Thank you very much, Caroline. I really enjoyed them. I did look up some myself and couldn't find any really good ones. You two know one?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Doctor.
Doctor Who.
That's it. That's just basically it. Doctor Who, yes, that's me.
And there was no tumbleweeds.
Yeah, there will be when I edit them in. So again, thank you, Caroline. Anybody else who thinks they're rubbish jokes, why don't you send in your favourite geeky jokes to us that are clean? Okay, because that would be great. Also discovered that some of the boys in Sunday school listen to this, so hello boys, how you doing?
Yes.
They were going to. I think if they had a bit more notice, they would have given us some jokes. But listen, that is it. That is it for Marksmess Podcast. We were brought to you by the letter L for
Lol.
lol. Give me a laugh. Give me a fake laugh.
Ha 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 ha.
Give me your fake laugh.
Ha.
All characters are property of their owners and not of us. Maybe you have your favourite sci-fi sitcom, maybe your favourite sci-fi comedy movie, or your favourite comedy comic books. If you would like to send us information about that, you can contact us on email at
mymarksbest@gmail.com,
on Twitter at
Marksmess Podcast with like the T.
on our webpage marksmesspodcast.blogspot.com, or on Facebook by looking for
Marksmess Podcasts.
And thanks to Josh Woodward of joshwoodward.com for the title music. Okay, so at the end of this episode, what have you learned?
I learned what an
An E was. We did the E a few episodes ago.
No, and yeah, what that was, and what yeah.
Okay, and what a wiki cookie was. What have you learned, Charlotte?
The eggs aren't tiny aliens.
Yes, thank you, Mork, for that.
What eggs?
The eggs from Mork.
Oh yeah.
And eggs can't fly.
Thank you very much for listening. You've been a wonderful listener to our podcast. And please join us next time, where is the letter M for?
Marksmess Pod.
Maltesers.
Marksmess Maltesers. What?
Bye.